Oh,
Hey.
I hit the button.
Yeah, you hit the button.
It's chilly.
Yeah, it's cold out there, dude. I was like, dang, I'm surprised Smitty wants to record and all this.
I just put on. I've got multiple layers on now, on top of the fat that I'm already accruing, and I'm like a seal. I'm untouchable, buddy.
Nice, man. I was
I got
out there not too long ago. I was like, it's surprisingly not cold, that cold.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. Like if the humidity's really high and it's that really sharp cold that just sucks,
Yeah.
then that's one thing. And like if the wind starts kicking and stuff, that's another. But overall, it's fairly tolerable. So
Yeah.
did it the other night on Monday when we did Snakes and Stogies. So yeah, I was like, I can do it again.
Power through, baby.
I ain't scared.
Probably wouldn't hurt to have like an indoor setup for cold nights.
Then I gotta pull all the stuff inside, and then I gotta pull all back outside and set it all up. And there's wires everywhere, and I don't really have anywhere comfortably to set it all up. So, like, it's not going in the snake room. Like, there ain't enough space in there to do it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just dealing with it and rolling with it. So, but we're here. We're back. THP number 218. It's brought to you by Fulvius Apparel, fulviusapparel.com. Check it out. Give it a follow on Facebook and Instagram. I never know whether I should say me or like us. I feel like if us is a little more ambiguous when it's literally just me. But
that's just you, buddy. It's all right.
Yeah. So follow Fulvius on Facebook and Instagram. I am doing the giveaway for the free handler American Sign Language tumbler tomorrow. 40 ounces to I was gonna name it the 40 ounce to Anavip thing, but I didn't think Anavip would probably appreciate that. So I said I'll just whatever, we'll leave it. Instead of like the Sublime 40 ounce to Freedom album. I don't know if that's probably before your age, but
I know Sublime. All right.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I definitely don't know the album names like that, though. So
yeah, Nate said to quote Smitty's story, "Get outside, nerds." I posted that because of all the political stuff people are posting. Like, put down your phones, get outside, nerds.
No one.
Even if you'll make a snowman with family, throw a snowball at a homeless person, something, anything.
Homeless person.
I don't know.
It's kind of fucked up, man.
So
yeah,
not a homeless person, just a person.
A person.
Equal opportunity.
Whoever's in the vicinity.
So I was going to do a giveaway with that Rhino lighter that I posted. Unfortunately, I messed up the other side of that. So my laser had, I guess what would be the robot equivalent of a stroke. And I noticed that my laser thing, like there has a laser pointer on this in it that like will measure the distance of things so that it kind of knows what settings to use. And I noticed that was off by about like 4 inches from where it normally is. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, no big deal. And I told it to go. And like the whole laser that it was like the design it was supposed to put down was like shifted over by a considerable margin, and it messed it up. So, yeah, I'll probably end up doing the Rhino ones, making those like available, I guess, doing small runs of them or something. Because I have the messed up one still, and someone decided they wanted to buy 2 of them. So instead of that being the one-off like I try to do for the giveaways, I'll probably make that available at some point. But yeah, use the code THN at checkout on fulviusapparel.com. Get 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. That code is not posted anywhere else. Like, you only get that code by listening to this show. And it's year round. It's not a limited time only thing. It ain't none of that. It is all the time, 24/7, 365, all that.
Hell yeah.
Look good. Even if you're bundled up like me, if they can't see it, they can still feel it somewhere or another. It just radiates sexiness. And each shirt is handcrafted by me, by hand.
He sews them all individually.
Yeah. No, but we've been out of work for a couple days now because if anyone's in the Southeast, we are getting something that we get maybe once a decade, and that is snow. And it's not even like serious snow. It's enough to just cause everyone around here to just freak out. So
It's a lot for us. I'll say that.
I don't even. They said we were supposed to get like 5 inches. I feel like we got like maybe 3.
It was a solid.
I don't know.
It was at least 4 around here. Trust me, I know. But yeah, it was. We got a good bit for our area.
So
I think it's about the same as 2017.
Yeah, I felt like 2017 was a little more fun because it wasn't just straight ice.
Yeah, that was the issue. Like today was a little better because the snow actually like stuck together, formed more of an ice ball. But it was cool. But yeah, it sleeted for a while. And then it was just like it looked like snow on the ground, but you walk on it and it was just ice.
I think that's the problem. Is it laid down like all that sleet and stuff a couple hours, and then my neighbor said at like 2 or 3 a.m. is when it actually was like snowing.
Yeah, it started
so
snowing.
It went right on top of just all that ice and stuff, and it just enough to slip and fall on. Yes, thank you, Boca Joe. It was enough to slip and fall on. I had a day yesterday, man.
Yeah, that was fun.
I thought it was me on Facebook. I posted the video of me getting absolutely fucking starched on the fucking boogie board,
just wrecked,
dude.
I don't know why you were standing up. I don't know what your right mind thought that was a good idea.
It made sense in my head. I was like, we're not going to go that fast. Like, it'll be fine.
It would have made a lot more sense if you were 23, 25, maybe.
Age is just a number, Jacob.
Yeah. But you proved to us that's much more than that, buddy. You didn't break a hip, did you? Are you okay?
No, but oh my God, dude. If I sneeze now, like, I feel like I'm getting stabbed. It hurts so bad.
Damn.
Like it takes the wind out of me all over again. Like maybe I have a collapsed lung or something. I'm not entirely sure, but
I could hear you in the video. Just
could you? I didn't pick that up, dude. I was like, I was struggling for my life.
Sucking way,
dude. Carrie said, I guess whenever I make you a longboard, it's got to have a roll cage.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know, my dad was pulling the kids on a boogie board with his side by side, and I was like, I'll do that, but I'm not going to sit down. I'll stand up on it and have him pull it like it's wakeboarding or something, right?
Right.
And I was like, it'll be fine. Like he's not going to go that quick. If he does, like if I fall off, like it's not going to be that serious. And
it's
so I got this thing, and I put like all my weight, a lot of my weight on my rear foot because I was like, if it's going to go down, like the front's going to catch the ground or something, and then I'm going to go forward. So I was like, I'll put most of my weight on the back and go that way. And then I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if he like hit the gas or something. It was all a blur, but
blacked out.
Long story short, that board came right out from under me, and I landed flat on my back, dude, and promptly could not breathe because all the wind had been knocked out of me. Like I had a cigar in my hand in the video. If you look closely, I just take it and toss it because once I hit the ground, like it's just done.
Not the cigar, man.
Yeah. And so then I caught my breath after a few minutes of going, oh! This is like just really struggling. And I finally picked my cigar back up. And I mean, I should get some sort of points for like keeping the cigar in my mouth the whole time that I went down.
It was in your mouth?
Oh yeah.
Oh jeez.
How am I supposed to hold on with one hand?
I don't know. I thought you may have had it in like your fingers or something.
Well, of course I had to grab it out of the snow because it was a Liga number 9, so it was expensive. So I was like, as soon as I got my breath back, I like rolled over. I was like reaching for it.
I'm keeping this shit.
Yeah. I got another half of this thing to go, damn it.
I was gonna try and get out to my dad's, but the roads being as bad as they were, I didn't want it to heat. My dad lives about 25 minutes away when it's not snowing. So I vouched not to, but man, he tempted me. He was like, man, you come out here, we'll take the side by side and break out the car hood that's over in the in the yard, and I was like, dude, don't tempt me with a good time. Oh my god.
Justin ain't fixing to lose a stick that's in his mouth. Thank you, Keller.
No, he ain't. He ain't. It's commitment right there.
So, well, that happened, and then 30 or 45 minutes prior to that, I fell down the stairs on porch.
You were
not like fell as in like I stumbled. This was like straight up I slipped like Home Alone style and like went down the fucking steps, man.
I would have paid
like
to see that.
I just sat up, just
Oh
not
my
really
God.
knowing exactly what just happened, and kind of just looked around. Like my Dr. Pepper went flying. So it was flat by the time I picked it back up.
Not the DP.
And it just that hurt. And then
You had a rough
board hurt, dude. I did. And then all day today, I was like so paranoid about slipping and falling because I'm like, if I fall again, dude, I'm done for. Like
I'm toast.
Yeah, and then everyone in the group chat was like, "Get Justin a life alert!" Ha 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 ha. Damn it.
Oh man.
And then, it just be safe.
Be safe out there.
I'm pretty sure, like, I had a pretty serious headache after the stairs, so I'm wondering if I got slightly concussed or something because of that.
That was backlash from when you tripped over the tool.
Dude, it's been.
You've been falling a lot, buddy. Goddamn,
has not been good to me.
No, I'm getting worried about you over here.
My glasses are permanently chipped because of that toolbox. And now I can see it. If I pay attention, I can see it constantly.
Did you trip on the toolbox or did you trip into the toolbox? I tripped
over all the freaking podcast cords and stuff that I had sitting here. And like had a beer in my hand and what else? I don't know. I was carrying something, but like the beer went flying, went all over the place. I pulled a bunch of stuff off the table because I tried to catch myself. Still ended up going face first into that toolbox. Like, kind of really surprised I didn't break my nose or something. Because I went nose first right into that. Like, I barely broke my fall, like with my arms. Like, I mean, when I say I made out with that damn toolbox, dude, it was. I got to second base
with a toolbox.
Her name was Cobalt, and she was a cruel bitch.
She was a little rough, huh?
Yeah. She'll leave you black and blue.
I see what you did there.
But other than that, I haven't been accident prone. I got a new car today. Congrats, buddy. Got rid of the Ford Explorer.
Finally.
God speed to the Toyota dealership that was willing to take it in trade. I was like, this gremlin is your problem now.
They'll take anything in trade. They're just gonna send that to auction. It's that it don't
care what they do with it. You know what sucks though is like as I was leaving the cigar shop to go vacuum it out and sort of tidy it up real quick, I had a giant slab of ice on my roof, right, from all the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit the brakes at a light, and that whole slab came right off the front and took out the little plastic guard that was on the hood.
Nice.
Like, and I didn't even notice it was gone because I stopped. I was at the light and it was red. And so, of course, I hopped out of my car real quick to pull that giant slab off the windshield so I could actually see. And then when I got I went by work to throw some stuff away. And then I looked at my hood. I was like, why does my hood look like that? And then I realized that slab of ice had just completely just popped that whole thing right off. And now if you go by the City Hall intersection, if you look closely, you can see it on the ground. It had been run over multiple times by the time I saw it. So
solid
pieces. So
yeah, that happened to me twice today. Once when I was driving Kayla's Jeep to the gas station because she got work tomorrow. Wanted to go ahead and fill up her car with gas. And I hit the brake just going slow, and all of a sudden that whole thing came down. I was like, oh, and I could barely see over the top. So I rolled out the window, was sticking my head out, and then
dude, the number of people not even removing it that have so much ice and snow on their windshield, and they're not even trying to like get it off is amazing because everyone was just riding around with this giant obstruction. Yeah.
Well, after that, I took my work truck to go pick up some food because I'm technically on call, and so I got my work truck here, and that's big jacked up Ford, and I cleaned it all off the hood and the windshield, and then I took that out. And as soon as I hit the brakes, that sucker came flying down too. It's like, oh my
Not a
gosh.
Final Destination.
Yeah, dude, it's sketchy, man. But,
but I'm over it, and I'm ready for it to be done.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'd almost rather be at work because I'm off again tomorrow, and it's like I have nothing to do.
We were supposed to go in at noon today, and then we ended up getting the text saying just stay home.
Yeah,
and then we're supposed to go in at 11 tomorrow. And driving around town today, I think we'll be all right, and I think shouldn't be a problem getting there. I feel like this is like the couple days after you get snow like that is the worst because that's when it's like the ice is like
it's all ice,
melts and then it refreezes, and then
that's the issue here because it's getting up into like the 40s, and so it starts to melt, and then it's in the 20s at night, so everything freezes again, and it's just horrible. So, but yeah, it's real weird.
What's been going on over there on your side of town? Anything new?
No, not really. I got babies heading out the 1st of February, pretty much all my babies. And then I'm downsizing by a good little bit of some stuff that I had multiples of that I didn't need multiples of. So sending them out, getting rid of a couple projects, but side stuff. And it's so like bittersweet because some of the stuff like I really like, but at the same time, there's part of me that can't wait to have a lot fewer animals. So it's gonna be nice. Still gonna have a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
it'll be nice to kind of downsize a little bit.
How's cooling going with this exceptionally cold winter we're having?
Turn the oil heater on in there, and yep, just letting it rock. I don't even know the temperatures. I just walked in there, and I could tell it wasn't like freezing cold. Right. So I was like, good to go. So it is what it is.
I got my guppy tank in here, and it's got a heater and
your guppy tank in the garage.
Yeah, it's got a heater though, and I started out with like, I think it was like 4 females and 3 males, and all the females are dead, but the males are still kicking, and they just hang out around the heater and then venture out periodically to go nibble on stuff or whatever. But the 3 of them are doing great. So, but I got that heater like cranked too, just to compensate.
I mean, that's also going to be an issue come summertime, dude.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I feel like that's probably going to be more of an issue than the cold is.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. They seem to be pretty tough, and if I can get another batch of females that will actually survive, I don't think it'll be as bad, but we'll see. Dustin Black sent me some stuff to sort of jumpstart the bacterial growth and some other stuff. So I got live plants in there that are doing really well. Like I said, the males that I have in there seem to be doing fine with no issues whatsoever. The females, I don't know what the deal was with them. They just slowly turned paler and paler, and then usually like next day they'd be dead. So we'll see. But the whole genesis of the guppy tank and the guppy breeding is sort of trying to breed my own feeders for baby rhinos for the upcoming season. So I've got a solid handful of months before I really need any sizable number of them. But I talked about on Snakes and Stogies kind of briefly, but I got some rosies from PetSmart a while ago. Fed them to some rhinos to get them going. Had one rhino that ended up with some sort of subcutaneous worm. I don't know what kind, but ended up excising it. And yeah, it had to have come from the rosies. There's nothing else I can think of that it would have originated from. So I said, time to start breeding my own feeder fish. And that was kind of on the docket anyways. Like I had kind of tossed around the idea of doing it so I didn't have to go to, PetSmart across town every time I needed some rosies.
Yeah.
I was like, I could just breed my own. Now, I had some guppies as a kid, and they seemed to reproduce like crazy. So I was like, I'll just do a 10-gallon tank. Petco had a pretty good sale on aquariums and stuff, so I got a 10-gallon kit that came with the filter and heater and all the stuff for $50. So
there you go.
Did that, and I'm putting some effort into making it look good, and it's got some big pieces of like Mopani in there, and a big pothos growing in it, and some other aquatic plants, and just got to get the fish to survive. So.
Yeah, guppies will breed pretty easily. Back in my heyday when I had a couple fish, we had a little guppy tank, and dude, they were popping out fry, every couple weeks. It seemed like you gotta have them set up for the fry though, because the adults will eat those things so fast.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hoping these plants will take off and get a little more growth to them, so that it sort of breaks things up a bit in terms of barriers. And I may get they make some plastic fry.
Yeah, it's like a little insert
protection that you put in area that it's got like little fine areas that they can go and hide in without the adults getting to them. So I may get one of those. It's going to be plastic, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little plastic thing that you just
get more aquatic plants. Au natural.
Or just have like a separate tank for the fry.
I don't know. That seems like a lot of work.
It's whatever you want to do. I was just throwing it out there. Get a little small tank for it.
Joe said you might wind up enjoying the guppies, and then the fish tank obsession starts. Absolutely not.
That is a slippery slope.
That's a lot of space. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like I'd get back and I do tanks again for dart frogs, but my fish interest stops here. So it's kind of part of it is like I refuse to let myself get sucked into it, like because I'll look at some of the cichlids and stuff at PetSmart and be like, those are cool, like those are neat, and then I'm like, don't do it, don't bother, don't look into it, don't read about it, don't do anything, just know that it's a fish. And
dude, I was like that close to getting balls deep into South American cichlids back in the day, and I didn't. Thank God. Would have been a problem. I don't need fish.
Yeah, I just need feeders. So that's what's happening. Because I'm planning this year, I am aiming to have 2 rhino clutches, because I have 2 females that I'm going to be doing. So instead of going to PetSmart and having to worry about worms, and then having to worry about the employees there jumping me in the parking lot because I show up wanting like 10 rosies at a time, which they always seem confused about. I went in the other day and had to ask for 4 because I have 2 baby rhinos that are still not switching over yet. And the guy was like 4. And I was like, I kind of laughed. I was like, yeah. It's like, I'm
gives
sorry.
you 12.
He ended up giving me like 5. And that's the problem too, is like the past couple times that I've gone there and I'm like, I need 10. They give me like 15. And I'm like, then I got 5 fish that I can't do anything with. And
they just feed them extras.
They usually get 2 each.
Feed them 3 each.
They can't handle much more than that. They're not that big.
They're little tiny fish.
Nah. Some of the roses they give me are pretty big for a baby rhino.
Throw them in the yard for a raccoon to eat.
I don't know. I had one die and I fed it to the curly-tailed tarantula because she'll eat just about anything. And I like just put on tongs and like wait in front of her, and she just went to town on it, dude. I didn't see any remains of it. I think she damn near ate the whole thing. So
yeah,
I don't know, but it'll be nice to just be able to like, I can just like with the mice and stuff, I can pick out the size I need. I can pick out how many I need. I can control over the quality, like what's going into them. I don't have to worry about the whole worm thing as much.
Yeah. So. No, I wouldn't like that at all. Yeah, Joe said that's like when I went to my pet shop for crickets. I asked for 15, I got maybe 30. That's exactly what I did whenever I worked at PetSmart, and a reptile person came in for crickets. I'd be like, that's 6, it's 18.
You're good.
All right, 30.
You only needed 10? Oh, I overcounted. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey man, when it came to crickets and stuff, and like normally with feeder fish too, like those people don't really, they appreciate the extras, but I guess in your case, you really didn't need them. So,
Well, I didn't explain to any of them that I'm not feeding them to fish, like I'm feeding them to snakes, So
right,
that's the reason when I say I only need 10, I only need 10. I don't need more.
right.
So, but
Yeah,
I don't think they care enough. I think even if I told them, they'd be like, okay, that's cool. Here you go. Here's 25.
yeah, yeah. Pretty much. That's the thing. Like Joe said, he was specific when he counted. If it wasn't like a big box store, then I would have counted a little bit more if it was like a mom and pop shop. But being freaking PetSmart, dude, nah. Get one over on them suckers when you can. Fuck them.
Ours has gotten smart. Like, I don't know if they did this back in your day when you were there, but like they now, I guess on weekends in particular, they go ahead and like pre-bag some of them. So like they'll have like one of those clip hanger things that you can hang stuff from, and they'll go ahead and just pre-do like bags of 20, 25, whatever in both sizes. And then you just walk up and grab however many bags you need and take them up front. You don't have to have someone come and like bag them for you and dig them out and count them. And
they used to do that with they came in like little plastic cups.
Oh, they still
like
do, but they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. So we would have to go through, throw out the dead ones and put new ones in there. I'm like, this is freaking stupid.
Yeah. I don't understand that at all, because it's like, I'm paying like twice as much and they're all dead, or at least half of them are dead in there. And then like they don't even seem to survive that long compared to the ones that they have to go in and manually like pull out and count. So when they made these little pre-made bags, I was like, this is perfect, because then I can just go in and get it, and I don't have to hunt someone down, because sometimes it is very difficult to hunt someone down at ours to get that stuff.
It's a freaking nightmare in there, dude.
And then that's all after they look like they want to stab you in the neck. So
nah, it was almost worse. Like when I worked there, getting that, like the rosies and like the feeder goldfish were easy. You used to take the big net scoop and you'd get them. But there are certain the people that would piss me off that were like, I want the female platy and I want that one specifically. And I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to give me about 20 minutes here.
Yeah, when I got the guppies, I told the girl straight up, she's like, which ones do you want? And I was like, if I'm being honest, these are going to be breeders to be feeders. Like, give me whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, dude.
Except there was a black one, like an all black guppy male, that I was like, that one though, I do want. I want him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's fine when they're like, oh, 2 males, 2 females. You're like, okay. But even that was a pain. But some people would be like, I want that female specifically. And then you put it in the little holding tank. You're like, is that it? And they look at it and they're like, nope. Mother. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I got real good at, like sexing fish in there, but like, my God, like people would be so specific about ones they wanted. And they were just, it was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah. I just told her, I was
like, specific tetras and stuff.
Get me whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. No.
Because originally I was going to get a group from Jack Oliver, and just with the weather and schedules and stuff, Jack, just the times he was going to come down here, his schedule just had to get moved, so we had to move it again. And so finally, I was like, they finally got PetSmart. PetSmart finally got some guppies in, which for a while now they haven't had it.
Oh, really?
They've only had males, or they've only had females, but they never had both. So when I saw that they had just gotten some in, I was like, let me go ahead and just get a group now.
See, and Ryan brought up a good one. It was the mollies that I was thinking of. The guppies were one thing, they're a little slower, but those mollies, dude, those suckers would they would go everywhere, man. They were so fast. And they were like, they had these like, what were they called? Like they were like white and black mollies, like zebra mollies or some shit. And people were like, I want this one specifically because it's a little darker than the other one. And I'm like, well, there's 2 in there that look like that. They're like, yeah, but I want that one. I'm like, okay.
I don't want the dark one. I want the slightly darker one.
Dalmatian mollies. That was it.
Dalmatian mollies that has the 3 spots on the side, not the 4.
Yeah, no, dude. Fucking Dalmatian mollies were my nightmare. I hated those things, dude, with a passion. I think the only cool part about working there was whenever we had Oscars in, I would go and I would grab random crickets and I would hand feed them. I'd get them to come out of the tank and grab crickets out of my hand. That was pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah. So these three are just loving their little pimp pad.
Little pimp palace.
I don't know. Do male guppies fight? I probably should know more about
guppies are
than I do.
Guppies are communal fish.
I don't know. They just seem to always kind of be like chasing each other around. So
no, they're fine.
I don't know.
Most of those are pretty good. Your ones that can get territorial are mostly like your South American cichlids are like your African cichlids are real bad.
Cichlids are brutal.
It depends on the cichlids. Like South Americans can be housed together as long as you have a big enough setup and you have them in different areas. But like African cichlids, no, you got to have like the same size fish and they got to get along and it's all this shit. And, no, dude, the African cichlids are brutal.
Yeah. Well, that's the extent of the excitement going on here. I have those baby isometris. The scorpion slings, those are, I don't know what so those things just aren't growing. I think what it is, because I've been feeding them fruit flies, I think the fruit flies just aren't enough to really like put anything on them, if that makes sense. Like they're not really gaining much from them, but they're still too small for me to be able to feed like pinheads or something. So that one's kind of weird. I think I just need to start feeding them more often, like every other night. Be giving them.
What is this?
It's those lesser brown scorpion babies.
Yeah. I forgot you had baby scorpions.
Yeah, and they're taking their sweet time growing. So I'm trying to get them to the point to where they could at least take like a pre-killed cricket and not be
that old, are they?
I mean, at this point in time, they should have at least molted once or twice since they came off mom's back. So
yeah.
Tyson, you should listen to your wife. You should get a tarantula. Bean beetles, those have been on the radar. Chris Sanchez has a group of those, and I've talked to him about possibly getting my hands on some of them when he has. I think it's actually peanut beetles. Sanchez has a colony of those going, and those seem like they'd be a really good option. So I'd like to give those a shot at some point. Right now, my small mealworm colony is producing, and they've got teeny tiny mealworms that I could try. They just burrow is the issue.
Dude, mealworms are crazy, man. Like the colony that I had, I kind of like forgot about them, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, dude, they can survive off that.
And I just had them like in the mealworm chow stuff, and I was like, oh wait, let me check on my mealworms, and there were like thousands. I was like, holy shit, what did I do? I gave them to you.
I've been feeding beetles to some of the tarantulas and stuff.
And like the mealworm beetles.
Yeah. They don't have any. They don't discriminate. It doesn't matter if it moves and it's small. They're gonna go for it. So
nice.
Yeah.
No. But
what's the plan for 2025 with breeding and stuff over there?
Oh, dude, I don't.
It's gonna be a slower year.
Yeah, like I said, I downsized a little, so I've got stuff that I was planning on breeding actually leaving the nest. But this year I'm gonna do Apalachicola white oaks again. Then I'm gonna give the Santa Rosas a year off. I might try albino pines again, depending on how my female looks. Then I'm going to pair up my Clayburgh County bulls. I really hope those go, man. God, that would be so cool. And Jani. I think that's
is it Jani time?
Yeah, I remember I got those adults from Tony D at Daytona, so I'm gonna pair those up. So that'll be good. And I think that's gonna be it. I don't know if that was 4 clutches. Oh, and Deckerts. I have 2 Deckerts going.
Because you tried those last year.
Yeah, I got Deckerts last year.
Did you?
Yeah. I got babies. Well, I ended up with like 5 eggs. 1 or 2 either went bad or the babies died in the egg. I can't remember. I ended up with 3. Well, I ended up with 4 when it. Wait, no, I ended up with 4. Yeah, when it was all said and done. 1 died almost immediately after hatching, and then another one escaped somehow and was just gone. So that sucked. And then so I was down to just like 2. I had a pair, and my female died out of nowhere recently. Literally just found her the other day, so that super sucked. So I just have the 1 male, and he's a freaking smoke show. He's big, so I'm just gonna hold on to him, and he'll hang out. They're my favorite locality of the rat snakes I have, so I figured I got to keep the one I produced this year. But I got 2 pairs that should go this year. Repeat from last year, and then the ones I've been raising since they were babies. So that'll be cool. So yeah, we'll see. I'll probably shoot for around 4, maybe 5 clutches. I'm not sure if the Claybergs are gonna go. I know they're old enough. They're 4 years old this year, I believe. There'll be 2021s. But they're not huge yet. I think the female's pushing 5 foot. But these are like 7 foot long adults. And no, Joe, the Texas rats are actually staying right here. That's actually the thing. I'm not really, there's only, out of the rat snakes, I think there's only 2 localities that I'm getting rid of. But it's mostly because I have other localities that are very similar. And then most of the other stuff is like, I have so many of this one locality, I don't need to keep them all, type of deal.
Do you have stuff available now?
No.
No.
Basically, how I'm working it, because because these are animals that I've been sitting on for a long time. I've been raising up. I didn't really just want them to go to anybody. So I'm giving them to a buddy, and until everything's final, I'm not going to, disclose a bunch of the details. But basically, I'm sending them his way, and then we're just going to split profits once he reproduces them. So it's kind of a breeder loan type thing.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't want to just post them on Morph Market and have some rando have all the stuff that I raised for so long. And this way, if he needs to get rid of them, I can take them back, or we'll work something out then. And I get stuff, I can get my stuff back or whatever. But yeah, I'm really keeping most of the localities. There's only, like I said, I think there's only 2 localities of rat snakes I'm totally getting rid of. And then I'm getting out of the fork line stuff, the roosters, unfortunately, the gopher snakes, unfortunately.
Just tired of all the anger.
Not even that. It was more so like, Pituophis are big snakes, dude. They're big snakes. They eat a lot. And
they need those
were the only ones I wasn't like, I can't get rid of these. Like I'm moving on a pair of my Jani, because I looked at my group and I was like, I don't need 8 of these things. So a pair of those is going to Gabe. So I'll have a 3.3 group. And then I'm looking at all the Pituophis. I'm like, well, I can't get rid of the black pines. I'm not doing that. And the Claybergs are too cool. It's such a unique locality that, my buddy, was a part of early on, Chris Painchab. So it's like, I don't want to get rid of those. And obviously the other Jan I don't want to get rid of. And I was like, the albino pines aren't going anywhere. I was like, if I have the albino pines, I have to keep my normal southern pines. So that's I'm just kind of leaving it at that. It's kind of a pair of everything, and leaving it there. But something had to give as far as Pituophis goes. So the Brewsters are going, unfortunately.
The forks would have probably been my first cuts.
Yeah. And it's not even because they're dicks.
Well, it's just like, it's when it's just plain, like, you got to kind of like
if I had to make a cut
Really brace
somewhere,
yourself
yeah.
to have to deal with that kind of stuff. It's like, okay.
I had to make some cut. That was the thing. Like I sat there and looked at all my snakes. And I was like, all right, I got to do something because, like, I'll be honest. This is the worst. This is the worst burnout I've ever experienced in keeping. If I'm being completely honest. And at the same time, I'm also like getting more into other things that I want to do, and I kind of want to have a life outside of my snake room a little bit. So it was like, all right, something's got to give somewhere.
Your
So
backyard wrestling career is really taken off. I've seen the videos on YouTube.
yeah, dude, it's nuts. Kicking up all kinds of. Never mind.
Here you're gonna have a title match.
Yeah. But so I kind of just looked at everything as a whole, and I was like, all right, where can I make cuts? And so I'm getting out about 20, a little over 20 animals. So don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna have like 100 snakes, but like right now with the babies, with all these, I'm at like almost 170. So
Jesus.
I'm like, but that's with babies, granted. But I just like I'm about to.
Mouths.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's too much right now. And so it'll being back down like right at 100 will be good. And it'll be a lot more manageable, and I think I'll be a lot happier. It sucks, it's not fun, but I think I'll be happier with the number I'm at and the animals I have. I'm keeping a lot of all my good quality stuff. And at the end of the day, I looked at the list I was keeping. I was like, okay, I really can't get rid of anything else here. Like I can't bring myself to do it. So I'm happy with my decisions, and I think it'll work out. Because the buddy that they're going to is trying to go full time in the next couple years. So it'll kind of help me, help him. It's kind of a win-win deal. So
Yeah.
like I said, it's a little bittersweet. But yeah, it is what it is. It'll be best for the long run. But yeah, like I said, mostly pretty much keeping pretty much all my localities. But just mostly getting rid of numbers. It was like, okay, why do I have 6 of these? I don't need 6 of these. Let's make it 4, or if it's a small project, let's make it 2. Just a pair,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I did some of that with some of the Castagna stuff that I have. When I did the last couple rounds of wholesaling batches and stuff, there were some just Castagnas that I just had multiples of the same thing. Like it wasn't necessarily
right
something different from the other Castagnas I had. I just ended up with, a handful of Castagnas that were hets for the same thing.
Right.
And I was like, I realistically only need to hold on to like 2 of these out of the group. So,
right.
I did cut back on that a bit. And, yeah, so I feel you. It's just, I've said it a million times, it's like periodically I feel like everyone, and the timeline is going to be different for each person, but for me, it seems like every handful of years, I get into this like spring cleaning mentality where it's like, how did I end up with so much random stuff? Even if it's like corns or something, like I have a habit, or I had a habit. I have a habit. I won't say I don't or didn't like, but like I'd see something that was just really cool, and like it had really cool genes in it, like speaking of corn specifically. And then I think about the potential of cool things that I could do with it. So I'm like, well, I'll just get it. And then, I already have an animal in mind to pair with it down the road. Like I'll just get it instead of waiting or something, or saying like, maybe when that other animal's ready, I can find something that's the same genetically or similar. Instead, I'll see it at Daytona, price is right. I'll just go ahead and grab it and hold on to it.
Right.
And then you repeat that, 20 times, and you end up with a bunch of one-offs, and things just you turn a mile wide and an inch deep.
Yeah.
And it just, I just get these points where I walk in my room and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, with where I'm at now, there's a couple things I need to I need to pinch off for pairs. Like I need female.
Mm-hmm.
I need a female yellow and red of the Colleton stuff from my road, and then I need a female Ridley Eye and a female Lake City, and that'll kind of just like that'll be it.
I forgot you had a Ridley Eye. How's that been doing?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's an asshole, but yeah, he's cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like I said, there's been definitely times where I've been like, oh my God, I have too much stuff. And then like I get really excited about something and I'm like, it snaps me out of it and I'm good. This is the first time to where I'm just like, I'm not there, man, you know, like, and obviously I'm still taking care of my stuff. Like, it's not like that. I'm not neglecting my animals, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I'm burned out with it a lot, especially because like I want to get into other things. Like me and my buddy are working on my bike here in the next couple of weeks, and it's like I want to make more time to do. We're doing a North Carolina ride in May, and it's like I want to have more time to do that kind of stuff. Do other things. Like I do have a life outside of reptiles, as much as I don't like to admit it. So it's like there's a line to where it's like if I want to do other stuff, like maybe I need to cut back a little bit. And I've always been a proponent of like, if you're not excited to go in the snake room and work anymore, then it's like, all right, maybe you should make a change somewhere. So.
Yeah, and I think though it's not necessarily like, to me, I agree with that. To me, I notice I'll go through some phases where, like, because I keep sort of a myriad of things, nothing too crazy, but like I go through periods where I'm like, what's the word? Where I'm like, okay, I really love chondros, and so I'll sort of find myself on Morph Market looking at chondros. I'm not gonna buy any, but like, I just go through these phases where I get really hyped up about the Jansenii and Gonyosoma stuff, and then I'll go through phases where I get really hyped up about rough-scaled sand boas, and then I'll go through phases where I get really hyped up about the rhinos, and the Bairds and stuff like that. So if it's like a temporary sort of thing where it's like I walk in, I'm like, I'm just not. At the moment, I'm not as into Bairds, for instance. Like, if it's a long-term thing where I find that after a handful of months that I'm like, I'm not really feeling Bairds, like, then that's kind of a clue to myself that, okay, maybe the next round of cuts, maybe Bairds are in that, or particular corn projects, because corns have kind of been the bulk of my cuts lately, is just, again, having so many sort of random one-offs and stuff. So I get it. I definitely understand. But I feel like it's also, the journey in herpetoculture, if you will, is sort of fluid. Like, I don't expect people to find one species they're super into and never deviate from that, or keep other stuff to try it out to see if they even enjoy it. Like, it's going to change. Your tastes are going to evolve. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Things are going to come and go, like I had Uromastics in the past and love them. And, one day if I ended up having the space to be able to keep one or two of them, like, I probably would, but just knowing that sort of right now, it's just not, it's not in the cards, and it's not something I'm willing to sort of take on. But like, I still like them. I still really enjoy them. Same with dart frogs. Like, I'd love to keep dart frogs again. Do I want to have 10 tanks of them? Not necessarily, but just enough to scratch the itch, I guess. And so it's just, I don't know. You and I know, especially locally, have seen people sort of bounce around from species to species.
God,
maybe from more of like I think they were sort of coming at it from more of a monetary aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
And, when you see that, it's kind of easy to tell if that's sort of what the goal is. And if they're not seeing the results, then they're just jumping to another ship.
Right.
But, I feel like for us and a lot of people we know, maybe it's just a mass case of we all have ADHD to some degree. And so it's constantly like shifting, for me, especially, like, I know how I am. And I know that I very easily will get interested, like hyper interested in something, and like go all in. And then after a couple months, like maybe I'm not as into it as I was when I started off, you know? So like with Katie, you know, she talks about like the tarantulas and stuff.
All right.
Went to Daytona. I got some. I've gotten more since, but I'm really into it. I really like doing the podcast with Serg, you know, like I'm enjoying that, but that's also something that never really like the interest never left. I just didn't have that stuff.
Right.
And so I don't know.
I think for me,
sort of a stigma of people that sort of jump around a lot. It's always kind of been like, I don't know, but I'm realizing now that most of the time it's well intentioned. It's, you know, the people just you're finding what you like, and that's kind of it. So
for me, what, you know, I I jumped around a lot earlier, like in my years of keeping, like kept a lot of different stuff, moved around, kept Morelia mostly for a long time. Now I'm here at Colubrids. I think one thing I've gotten better at is like as of recent, I haven't seen something completely new, like say at Daytona or something, and been like, yeah, I'm gonna get that right now, and just like kind of go into it blindly. I always have a plan. There's always like stuff I want, but I try to sit on it for a long time, because there has been stuff that, yeah, I can't think of something specific, but I know I can't remember what it was, but it was a certain species of something. And I was like, oh man, I really want these. Like, I really want to try these. And there's really nothing on, available for them, like in my range at the moment. So I was like, okay, like, not gonna, obviously I can't make this happen right now. And then a month or two went by, and I was like, thank God I didn't do that. It was gargoyle geckos. And you can ask Chris Payne Chap, because I hit him up about some, and he was like, oh. And then a couple months later, he was like, hey, I got gargs ready if you want to go, if you want some. And I was like, yeah, no, actually, no. Because it was like just in that moment, I was like, maybe I want these. These sound really cool. And then like I sat on it for a month, and I was like, yeah, no, never mind. Like, I'm good.
And I think that's a big part of it, is just like recognizing in yourself whether it's just like the idea of it sounds nice because it's something new and exciting, and then sort of the reality. I guess not necessarily scrub pythons for me, but it's in a similar vein. Like,
it was like that for scrubs for me. I tell you,
the idea of scrub pythons sounded awesome, and then Phil got me that tandem bar and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then after several weeks or months, I was like, yeah, these ain't it.
I would still keep tandem bars. I'd tell you that. I would. But Joe makes a good point too. He said, for me, and maybe it's just me, feel less excited when the collection feels stagnant, no babies on the way, no new pickups you're excited about. It comes in waves. I agree with that to an extent, but at the same time, I'm so excited. I shouldn't say so excited. I'm looking forward to stuff going out and being stagnant for a little while. Personally, like I am genuinely looking forward to that, and just kind of having a little bit of a down period.
Yeah, and that's what it's been for me with green trees in particular. Like I still have, I haven't gotten rid of any green trees. Like I still have green trees, and I still have a sizable collection of them. I just haven't been making any progress with them. Like I've been trying to pair. I haven't been trying very hard as far as pairing and cycling and stuff. So it is my fault that there's no progress being made there. But it's like when the meter's not moving, it's definitely harder to get a little more excited about it. With the rhinos and stuff in particular, like that's just become the species that I've decided like I will unconditionally love forever, and will breed every year as long as I can. And having the babies, and then like having some that are finally ready to go, and like finally switching over to mice without any issues, like feeling like progress is being made. It's easy to stay more motivated when you're seeing results of effort and things like that. So I definitely understand, what Joe's saying in that aspect. If it's nothing's really happening, it's hard to stay up about it,
for sure. And I feel like that's where people get, like me, I'm a raise it kind of guy. I don't like buying adults for various reasons, but I like raising stuff up to breed. And I feel like that's where some people kind of get like stagnant with it. Like, okay, I'm just growing these things out. They're not breeding. Nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, these are small. I can get more small things. But then those small things end up being big things. And you're like, oh, I didn't have all the space for all this. And that wasn't really part of what I was doing. It definitely was a little part of it because I realized I had way too much stuff for the amount of space that I had. But I could have worked it out. I just like, it was more so like, all right, it's time to, this is getting a lot as these things are growing and it's turning into a lot more than I need. And it was starting to be like, it turned into a job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I don't want. Where I am going towards, it'll be like 3 days a week in the snake room and everything will be kept up perfectly. Right now it's like 5 different days of doing different stuff between baby day, quarantine day, 2 days of main room cleaning, and then a day of main room feeding. And then it's like, I got to do it all over again. And I'm like, this ain't it, because I can't, it's hard to keep that schedule when, I also have a real life, so it's like, I don't know.
And I think, and to a degree, I feel like social media does play a part, and even if it's on sort of a subconscious level of like, well, I'm seeing this person doing all the things they're doing and having a massive collection that they're keeping up with, like, it's not necessarily a comparison, but you telling yourself like, if they can do it, I should be able to do it.
No,
but everyone's level of sort of their threshold is going to be different for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
for
like, sure.
Some people don't want to be in their room 7 days a week after working full-time job or anything.
And that's the thing. Like, you also have to realize some of those people are in different spots than you are. Some of those people might be their full-time job. Some of those people, they might work from home. Some of those people might have a spouse that works full-time. You stay home, take care of kids.
Some of them might be full of shit and just be flat out miserable.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
do it at all.
It's like, you can't compare yourself to other people. You got to do what's best for you. And
everyone's fine. And then that, like, what's your finding your threshold,
like, right? And I feel like some people are afraid to admit it when they're burnt out. That's why, like, I'm being honest. I don't like saying it. I don't like admitting it, but like, I'm there, and I feel like people should be more open about it. And granted, I don't think you should just jump into a species and then like I said, if you're thinking about getting new stuff. Think on it for a little while. Don't be somebody that gets new things every other month and gets out of it the next month type of thing. But it is what it is. Brandon says, I think if collection stays below triple digits minus babies, or if you do it full time, would definitely help with burnout. And yeah, for sure. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I've noticed like right at 100 is probably where I
think over time you learn, like, it's not a threshold that you're gonna sort of figure out and be aware of and be able to pinpoint quickly. I think it's something over the course of several years after you've had the sort of the ebb and flow of numbers in your collection sort of shift and change. And like over time you kind of realize, like, okay, under 100 I seem to do better. Like overall I seem to just, like, I'm on top of things better. Things just feel better. And then you get to the point where you feel overloaded. And, I think it's a matter of just being honest with yourself and knowing your limits and being able to say, like, okay, this is too much. Like I gotta move away.
And that's kind of what happened. Like because when I bred this year, I guess I did everything pretty right because everything kind of bred at the same time. So I got all the eggs at the same time and all the babies hatched around the same time. And it was like, I went from no babies to 50 babies. And it was like, that's a big jump in animals you have to take care of. And I think that's mostly when it hit me. I was like, okay, like if I want to produce anywhere from 50 to 60 babies a year, I need to have less animals as the main collection. Cause like, my God, like I couldn't imagine producing more.
Yeah. The last probably 2 or 3 years, something new I've learned about myself on that front is like, I'm going to tell myself that 4 clutches of corns isn't that much. And
until like you
Eric
have it.
Westmoreland, it's not, because it is his full-time gig. It's what he does.
Yeah.
But then when you say, okay, 4 clutches of corns in my head, you know, that's not that many, that's not that bad. It's then when they double clutch, and then you're like, oh, this is a lot of babies. Like, I don't know what it is to where it's like, I know that numbers wise, like that's a lot of baby corn snakes, but in my head, I'm like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, when we have bears that are laying 6 clutches, rhinos laying
Right.
clutches of 6, like not big clutches, like a couple of corns will be fine. Like, no, I've learned within the last, like I said, 2 to 3 years that it's like, if I hear myself telling myself that, to not listen, like that guy's an idiot. Don't pay attention to a word he says, because it's a damn lie. Like there's this just idea in your mind that it's not that much, but like you were saying, little snakes turn into bigger snakes.
Right.
And if you like to hold on to stuff like I do,
Yeah.
it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So
That was one thing I had really good self-control on this year. The only things like I really paid attention to were my Seminoles and my Apalachicolas, because I held back all the Santa Rosas I needed to. I looked at them, of course, but I was like, I'm not looking into these too much, because I'm going to find one that I want to keep, and I don't need to do that. And the Apalachicolas, it was immediate because I hatched out some aberrant babies, and I was like, okay, I'm keeping these 2. That's it. I'm not even paying attention to the others. These are the 2 I'm keeping.
Yeah,
And
see,
the same with the Seminoles. Like
I have
I
the
picked
issue
real
of,
quick and was like out of mind. Like,
in my mind, I'm going through and I'm saying, okay, that one looks good. Like I'll bet you that one will color up and do something interesting in a year.
yeah.
So hold on to it, and then repeat that like
Nah.
6 times in a clutch, and then I end up with 3.3 holdbacks.
Right.
And it's like, why did I do that?
Brandon also brings up another really good point. I think he hit it on the head. This is kind of what I did. Brandon said, I think also once people feel okay with under 100, they're like, oh, I can deal with some more. Then the burnout comes again, almost like a never ending cycle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was. Like I had a lot of stuff and I was like, oh, what's 2 more? Oh,
Yeah.
what's 2 more? Oh, what's 2 more? All of a sudden you say, oh, what?
Cuts.
Yeah. All of a sudden you say, oh, what's 2 more 20 times? That's 40 more snakes. Yeah. Guess what? You just, almost doubled your collection. It's, it is a slippery slope, and and that is
be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
and just saying like you don't. I try to remind myself all the time with stuff like tarantulas or something in particular. I'll see a species that I don't see very often, and I'm like, I gotta have that. And then I'm like, it's not going to be the last one for sale ever.
Yeah,
it's not the last one on the planet. There's going to be more. It may not be right away, but it's okay because I can't even get anything right now anyways.
Right.
Like, calm down.
And that's also kind of where I was with some of the stuff I didn't want to let go of. Like I'm letting go of an Everglades locale. And yeah, I decided to keep my AML stuff. I'm letting go of the other locality I have of Everglades rats. And I was like, I know where they're going. If I really regret this down the road, I'll get babies again. Like, I
and
know
part of that
going.
Is like having friends that are into the same thing that you are, where you can be like, hey, I know you were interested in like these pairs. Like, if I send them to you and you produce some, can I get sort of first rights to whatever you end up hatching?
Yeah.
Like, so having a good circle of people for that kind of thing is also nice too, because then they're not completely gone. They're not off in the ether and a stranger across the country. Like you don't know where they went or whatever happened to them. Like,
and that's exactly why I'm doing what I did. Like, even though it sucked and it's nothing monetary right away, like, I don't know, I'm not seeing cash come in from all these animals I put so much time and money into. But at the same time, it's not why I'm doing this. It's not what it's about for me. I just want them to go. I want them to go where I know they're going to be good. And I know I can get that blood back if I want it down the road, and it all just like works out really well. Very thankful for my buddy that he's excited. I'm excited. It's going to be a good thing. I have to just kind of keep telling myself that it's going to be good. It's going to be better. It'll be better for your mental health and all that stuff. So,
and Boca Joe said, I will say, I think with my colubrids, especially my Texas rats, going forward, he's going to hold on to my babies longer before selling. I should have held production back that I didn't, and I regret it now. Yeah, that's how I felt with the chondros and stuff. With that first clutch that only clutch that I produced was, I went in saying I'm going to hold on to this many babies, or I'm going to hold on to as many as I can for as long as I can, but then realizing I could sort of trade those for other bloodline to sort of get into the mix and stuff. That's not what happened, but I do sort of wish I had held on to at least one more of those babies.
I would do that more. For one, I would do that more if I didn't keep native stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With native stuff, I can't keep that long because they have to be gone before they're 21 inches. So I can't really do that with a lot of stuff I keep. But I would also be way more inclined to do that if I didn't already have so much stuff, which is also a negative to having a larger collection. Like, for me personally, like I have enough space for what I have, but like maintaining, if I want to keep, 5 babies a clutch every clutch, and you got 5 clutches, all of a sudden that's 25 babies you're watching grow for the next year. And it's like, and I'm not talking about that being a bad thing. I'm saying that's more of like a pro to having a small, a semi smaller clutch. I know, Joe, hats off to you, because I know you've got a larger clutch as well. Or larger collection as well. But that is a harder aspect to having a large collection versus something a little bit more fine tuned. Like if I just had a couple pairs of this, couple pairs of that, I would keep everything until they were much larger and older, and then cherry pick what I want. But in the position I'm in now, I pretty much got to hope that this one I'm picking is going to turn out how I want. And yeah, I got pretty lucky this year. My Seminoles, I really got the look that I wanted. You could absolutely tell from the babies right off the rip what was going to be what I wanted. So bada bang, bada boom, keeping 4 of those. And then with the Apalachicolas, there's some screaming light ones in there, but I hatched I hatched one male that's super aberrant, then a female that you can kind of see it on. So I was like, okay, easy. I only wanted to keep a pair. This is the pair. And that was that. So sometimes it works out, sometimes not so much. Because I had the same thing with my first carpet clutch. The ones I sent out, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I really fucked up on that one, But hey, it all works out in the end, and it is what it is. At least, again, that's also where it's good to where, like, if you think something might be extra special, but you don't know if it will be, you're not sure if you want to keep it, just give it to a buddy. Don't try and sell it to some random person. If you got one you think is extra special, but you don't really have the space to keep it, then just give it to your friend. Be like, hey, keep this, raise it up, see how it does. Don't get rid of it. If you're going to get rid of it, give it back to me. Something like that. So I don't know, man.
That is one of the things about the rhinos, like the babies in particular, that I do like is like, it's not as simple as corns where it's like, okay, they've had, 5 meals, like they're good to go. Like these, we're talking, it takes months for me to get to the point to where I feel comfortable saying, okay, you can, if you buy these are going to do well for you, as far as getting them switched over and like eating regularly. Like it forces me to slow down, I guess. Not necessarily slow down in the sense of like I need to get it out of the door as quickly as possible, but like I'm forced to not just send them out to, if it's someone who's like dealt with rhinos before and like knows how to get them going, like that's not as much of an issue. But if I'm selling to someone I don't know and they're wanting a baby rhino, like I want them to have the most success with it and make sure that it is like, I wanted them to be able to get it, set it up, and then within the first week of getting it, offer it food and take without any hesitation. So that is one thing about those is I like, it gives me time to sort of sit on them for a little bit. Decide if I want to hold on to any from a particular clutch or anything, and just take your time with them, which has been nice, honestly, because like I'll have people message me as soon as I post reels or something of babies hatching, and I'm like, these aren't going to be ready until like next year. And then that, if people are serious about it, they'll come back, months down the road, or I'll message them when they're ready. Like I do sort of keep a mental list of people that have hit me up so that when they are ready, I'm like, hey, I got some that I'm comfortable letting go of. If you're still wanting one, let me know.
Yeah.
If not, no big deal. I get it. I did have someone put a down payment on one several months ago, and I've not heard from them since. I've messaged them and said, hey, just checking in. No response. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like I was upfront with them and said, hey, if you're going to make a down payment, like if you're going to do it payments, because this was before they were even, Joe's getting a baby. This is when they were first getting established. We were just sort of coming into winter. I want to say it was like maybe early November. And I was like, these aren't even ready yet. So I don't typically do payment plans unless it's someone I know. But because these weren't really established yet, I was like, why not? It's going to take a couple months anyways. Like, I'm not in any hurry. You're not in any hurry. Sure. And so I was like, I agreed to do it. And I was like, just know that these, like, if you're making payments, like these aren't refundable. I don't want you to be coming back to me when we're, $400 deep into this and you saying, I want my money back because you've decided that you just don't want it anymore.
Right.
And they were okay with that. Like, it's in writing. Like, they were like, okay, that's fine. But now I just haven't heard from them. So now it's like, at what point do I say, like, I either need another payment or you're forfeiting basically
what I would say when it's ready, when it's ready to go, you're ready to sell, whatever. Be like, hey, you put the deposit down, your animal's ready to go. I'm giving you the end of this month to pay up, and I'll send you the snake, or you forfeit your right to the animal. Giving you the opportunity. It's very well said. And then if they don't respond, sorry.
Yeah,
I told you. You
it coincided with. I usually don't ship from like mid-November to like mid-January. Obviously, the weather we've gotten so far it's extended that.
Yeah.
But it was basically like, it's too cold to ship anyways. They're not eating the way I want them to anyways. So like, normally I don't, but sure.
Yeah.
So it's all good. I just thought it was odd that it's like someone put like $100 down payment and then I just haven't heard from them. So
yeah, that ain't gonna be me. I can tell you that. It's I have done
comfortable doing that with this, where it's like, it's gonna, if you're aware that it's gonna take a while and you're okay with doing it, I'm okay with doing it. Like, it works out.
Yeah.
I just find it odd that it's like, now I can't get a hold of you, but you're online. Like, I see that you're online. You're not responding. It's just weird, strange.
Yeah. It's kind of an odd thing, but it is what it is. I'm more of a guy because I've never had somebody do that with me. Well, I have as of now. But for me, if it's like a bigger purchase, I'll be like, hey, can I give you half now? And then I'll pay you half in 2-3 weeks. They're usually like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, okay. I like to get it out of the way and then just like ship them whenever weather is good. Like, I don't like doing I'll give you $100 every 2 weeks for the next 6 months. Like, it's not a freaking hospital bill.
Not that particular. I'm like, whatever. I mean, again, it's like, you're under like, as long as you understand that it may take 3 months before I'm even saying like, okay, I'm comfortable that this is going to work for you.
Yeah.
When you get it, like, it's whatever, because it's not going anywhere in the meantime anyways. But I just, I don't, payment plans for me traditionally, I've just never been big into them, just because like, someone paying half and then saying I'll pay the other half, next month or whatever, like, that's fine. That's no big deal. I don't care. But yeah, if it's someone I don't know, I'm a little more weary of it. If it's like, someone I do know, or someone that listens to the show and like, I'm at least somewhat familiar with, then it's no big deal. I'm not that worried about it. But it's usually not something I'm openly like, I'll do payment plans like some people are. It's just like, I'll do them. It's not something. It's something we're gonna have to.
Not gonna advertise this.
It's gonna be like a case by case basis thing. It's not gonna be like a, in my terms of service or anything.
Yeah, no, it's a slippery slope, man. Luckily, I don't really work with anything that is unless you're buying a group. I don't work with much that requires many payments, so my stuff's pretty affordable.
Yeah,
which I'm okay with.
Yeah, and I've found this 2024 being the second year that I bred rhinos and sort of getting a much better and clear feel of how long I can expect things to take before they sort of switch over and are solid.
Right.
It's much easier to be able to tell people, like, if you don't want to do a payment plan, or if you're interested, like, message me, like 6 months from now, if you're still interested, or message me periodically and ask for updates, and I'll tell you. It's nice to kind of at least have somewhat of a rough timeline of when to expect things to be ready to go. And
yeah,
definitely this year's been interesting because I had a couple that switched over to pinkies very quickly, like early on. When it seemed like in 2023, they all sort of switched over around the same time. So it's been interesting to see how some just took and didn't have any problems. And then I still have 2 that are still holding out. I need to offer them pinkies again sometime, probably this weekend, because they're still just holding out. But
I need a very fresh live pinky whenever you can get one to me, if possible.
I think I have some pregnant females. Like, this weather has been killing me on the road.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
Has just come to a screeching freaking halt.
Well, if you can ever afford just one very fresh live, I would.
I've got like a big group of mice now. I need to go on Reptile Basics and get another one of those rat breeder tubs, because those work great for mice. I'm not even doing the rack with the mice anymore, because for whatever reason, the last couple times I've tried to set up some groups in those, like, they just crash.
I always liked those standalone ones a little bit more.
I don't know what it is with those tubs, but dude, the last like 3 times that I've set up 3 or 4 of those tubs with groups of like 1.3, they've just done horribly. Like, I cannot figure out what it is. Like, maybe I just need to replace the lines or something in the water. Like, maybe there's some sort of bacterial thing going on. But yeah, when I set them up in those standalone tubs, they do way better, and I can keep more of them in those per group. So I do need to. My dad actually was like, if you get more of those, like, I'll go halvesies with you on some, and that's what I need to do. But the tubs, they sell the tubs in like a 2-pack, but then you have to buy the bottles separate, and they're out of stock on the bottles like all the time on the bigger ones, the bigger bottles.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I do want to make that happen though, so I can.
Is your dad getting back into things?
No, but he has like a, that small gray band that I picked up for him at Daytona, and some other odds and ends. Because usually I tell him, like, whatever you need, if it's in there, like, just go ahead and grab it. I'll tell him if there's like mice that I'm trying to raise up to get more breeders out of, I'll tell him, like, only touch them if you absolutely have to. But
yeah,
for the most part, I'm like, go in there and get whatever you need. I don't care. But
yeah, I'm still having problems with that male mole king I've got, man. That thing.
Really?
Yeah, I've got I've got half a mind to throw him into cooling for the rest of winter, just to see what he does if he comes back out. Because I've heard that working with a lot of stuff. But yeah, man, he's so weird, because like he's so pissed off. He'll strike and strike and strike, and then I'll try and do the hand teasing thing. He'll strike and he'll bite it, and he chews on it for a second, and all of a sudden it kind of looks like he's working over the head, and he's like, nope, like, never mind. And I'm like,
boiled yet?
Yeah, I tried boiled.
That didn't work?
No, I tried boiled. I always offer it in the tub. Then when he freaks out, I try hand teasing. And then when that doesn't work, I just leave it in the enclosure. I've tried boiled. I've tried, since he's still a Lamprepeltis, I tried a pinky with some snakeskin on it.
Bacon wrap pinky?
Yep. And then I tried just for funsies, I tried frog. I had a frog leg, and I tried that. Wasn't going for it. So I don't really know. I might try, like, something with like the hogs like, and do, pink salmon or something.
Yeah.
I've heard tree frog works pretty good. But
boiled egg.
I don't know about that.
Hog noses will take boiled egg.
Oh yeah, I know hog noses as well. I don't know if.
I don't know. You'd be surprised, man.
Maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I gotta reach into my box of tricks, but I was like, man, I need to get something in them.
You should catch a ground skink and try scenting with Cincella or something.
If you ever find one, let me know. But yeah, I figured I need to get something in him. He's not losing weight. I can tell you that. He looks fine. Does not look like he's lost weight at all. I might try boiled brained and not tease. Just drop it in there, and because maybe I'm freaking him out too much.
Sometimes I think that's the case. Is like if you go in there and you try to like tease feed him, it just freaks him out enough to where that just turns him off.
You're right.
Sometimes I'll just go in there, drop it in as quickly as possible, and get out, and then like leave the room and come back a couple hours later and check for the like the really skittish stuff. Because sometimes I have to do that with baby rhinos, with the couple that are sort of just now starting to switch over. Like if I go in there and tease feed, it's kind of like chondros. Like you have some that'll actually strike, you have some that are just going to run. But what I'll do is I'll tease feed them, and if they're a runner, I'll put them back. And then by the time I'm done going through the rest of the stack, I'll just come back to those two and try them again. And it seems like after they've kind of settled and sort of realized what was going on, because usually they're, coiled up and asleep or something.
Right.
If I come back to them and try it again, usually they'll take again after that. So sometimes it's just sort of letting them wake up and get aware of what's going on. And then they sort of like, oh, okay, it's food. And
yeah, I think I might do that next. Do a boil it, brain it, just toss it in and leave. Because I know he wants to eat because he'll be out cruising and stuff. And every time I think I've got him, he's like, "Yeah, fuck you." And it's so weird, dude. Those snakes are so funny because even the milks, like they don't bite me. They'll go nuts on anything in front of them, but they never strike me. Even when they fly out the tubs and I grab them, they never strike at my hand. It's like whatever's kind of in front of them, but they never come at me. But man, they're quick. They're quick to take a shit on you. I can tell you that.
I figured out the Andeans. Like the trick with them is, like I can't. There was a couple times initially when I first got them and brought them home and stuff that I could drop feed, no problem. Like just put it out on top of their little humid hide and leave it, and they take it. But for whatever reason, over time they got shyer and shyer, and so now I've realized if I take like frozen thawed and I just put it under the humid hide, like lift up the humid hide, put it under there, it's gone. Like they take care of it. They're the only ones currently that I have to be like very particular with to get them to eat.
Yeah.
In terms of placement and stuff like that.
All the milks in quarantine now that I recently got, they will tong feed, but I've got them in like just standalone tubs. So you got to push the Dollar Tree tubs.
Yeah.
Got them in those, and they all will tong feed, but as soon as I go to put that lid on and snap it, they're like, and they freak out. So I've started drop feeding those. And recent, like I just fed them yesterday or the day before yesterday. Yeah, day before yesterday. And they kind of just yesterday I usually pull them out and get them moving, and then I'll drop it, and then they go find it. That time I just dropped it in, didn't even bother with them. Like 2 hours went by, they were still there, but then I checked the next morning and everything was gone. So I was like, okay, guess they'll come out and get it. But those milks are so cool, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love those Andeans, man. They're gorgeous.
Dude, you got to see the Wilkes and the Allegheny Eastern.
I want to see the bulls really bad, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, the female's a fucking savage, dude. She's nuts. I mean, she's great like handling, but like she's crazy for food. The male's so pretty, but he's just a bitch.
What was the guy doing before you got him to get him?
He was the male was still on live.
Oh, okay.
Then that was the issue. He said he was on live and he gave it to me at a good price, and I was like, yeah. I asked him, I was like, I mean, do they switch over pretty easy? He goes, they all switch over eventually. I was like, okay, maybe I can wait him out.
Everybody breaks, bro. It's biology.
Yeah. I don't want to start doing tails yet, but I just don't want to.
I mean, if it's not dropping weight or anything, then
I mean, he looks exactly the same as the day I got him. So we'll see. But I ordered micro pinkies from Lane Labs specifically for the moles and the milks because my God, they're so fucking small.
Those milks are tiny.
God, they're so small. And the Lane Labs, anybody who needs really small pinkies, Lane Lab micro pinkies. Granted, not all, you can tell not all of them are like true our quote unquote hour old pinkies, but they are consistently really small. But like anybody else I've gotten from, I get day olds, and there's always a ton that are just as big as a large pinky, and I'm like, this is fucking pointless. So mostly okay, but
got that male Conicus that hasn't eaten since I got it.
jeez.
Have you listened to that Conicus episode we did Monday yet?
I haven't listened to it, but I saw the thing to where they were saying about 4 years.
They went 4 years without food. They ate, and then they went another 3 years.
What?
Yeah. Or no, it was 7 years.
Not total. Straight.
No. It was like 11 years total, with like a couple meals in the middle.
That's crazy.
Like just wild. So like when I initially messaged Rob, after I met him at Daytona and stuff, I was like, hey, I got this male Conicus that I got in March. And at that point, it was going into August, and I was like, it hasn't eaten yet. And he kind of just laughed. He's like, dude, it's fine. And now I'm like, it's been going on a year now, and this thing hasn't eaten. Doesn't seem to care what I offer it. He don't want it. And he's like, it's fine. So I'm like, okay. And then, all right. Sure enough, I mean, he's not losing weight. He doesn't look any different. He's just a little shit.
Nuts. Yeah, the longest I had a snake go not eating was my first ball python. And
then he said they ate, and then it was like another 3 or 4 after that.
That's crazy, man. I had a ball python go a year without eating, and it was fine. It was completely fine, and it was so weird. I would always offer it something, every couple weeks. He kept, refuse. Always kept the water changed, whatever. It was perfectly fine. Then one day I offered it a frozen thawed medium rat, and wham, never stopped eating. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I'm so curious as to what the physiology is behind that. Like, what does their body chemistry look like when they go on a fast like that? Like
7 years.
They're not really losing any weight, and they're not really they're clearly not. There's nothing negative happening as a result of it. Like, what is their body running on? It's like, because it's clearly not that much fat. Like, that's what they have to be operating on is body fat. But if they're not even really losing that much of it, like, what are they using? Like, what is going on?
I mean, but that's the other thing. It's like this literally might be micro amounts that they're using because they're such a lie in weight species, because I assume the one that's not eating ain't moving a whole lot, pretty much just burrowing constantly.
Which is interesting because my 3 smaller Conicus, like, they're cruising all the time. And that
might be the thing when they're cruising, they're like, all right, let's go. Maybe when they're just laying there not doing nothing, that's when they're like, no, I'm good.
I don't ever see that male cruising, the big male. Like, I say big, he's like not even 12 inches.
So the one that he was talking about that went years without eating, was he breeding it in that time period or no?
It was a breeding pair.
Because I know with some stuff it's like a breeding strike, like especially with males, like they'll hit maturity.
With these, I think it's 100% like they don't care about food. They 100% just want to breed.
Yeah,
because the rhinos, it's like the same way. Like the rhinos, as soon as spring rolls around, those males go off food. Like the switch just flips. Like they'll go from absolute monsters with food to they want nothing to do with it. And that's how I know, like, okay, we're getting into the time. Like it's time to start beefing up the female, because once the male goes off food, that means something's happening. So I'll start beefing up the females.
Hogs are the same way, dude. Like the male, Keller brought up the hogs he gave me a while ago. My male hog, he's like 2 years old now. And I think he's getting mature because all of a sudden he's been like, fuck you. And he used to be he was an insane eater. He should go for my fingers if I let him. But just one day he was like, nope, that fuzzy looks horrible.
That's how Wilson is at work, man. Like after the 3rd refused meal, I'm like, cool, we're gonna come back to this in spring, dude, because I'm not gonna keep wasting freaking hoppers.
Yeah,
if you're not gonna eat them, like, and of course my coworkers are gravely concerned about him. They're like, you never feed him, and I'm like, he doesn't eat.
He won't eat
food. You guys see me because you all come and huddle over him while I'm trying to feed him, and like,
And females are a
Either take
completely different story, dude. Females will just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, no matter what. Like this is the second time I've kept hogs. I've got more now than I had before, but it was the same way. The male I had, once he hit maturity, it was like he ate whenever he decided he was going to eat, and the female would just gorge no matter what. She ate every single time. She bit my finger one time, and that was horrible. Yeah, dude, it's wild. I even thought about like trying to breed because that one male hog Keller sent me, dude, craziest looking normal hog you'll ever see. I mean, he's so weird. And he's so freaking cool. I thought about loaning him out to breed because, like, he's tiny, but I'm like, at 2 male hogs will breed easily. But yeah, I don't know. Females eating plenty though. She usually gets his fuzzies when he doesn't eat them because I pull 2 out each and I'll feed the female. She'll eat her 2, and if he doesn't eat one, I'll give her a 3rd one. So on and so forth.
I need to start hammering the Jansenite, man. Like every time I go in that cage to deep clean, or I went to feed them yesterday, and I lifted up the hide to try and pull the male out because they're both long overdue for a meal. And when I feed them in the cage together, things get pretty hairy. So I pulled the male to be able to feed him separately, and like lifted up the ABS hide that I have in there, and there was a slug.
Oh,
I see slugs on the regular when I go in there and clean. Like,
really?
She's dropping them, dude. So I'm like, and even more so within the last year, I've noticed than previous. So I'm like,
just like randomly throughout the year.
Yeah,
that she's not egg bound from a previous year or something, and she's just letting out slugs. No. That's weird.
I think last time I did a deep clean, I found 3. So she's dropping them. Like, it's happening. I just like Jared Carmichael was messaging me on Instagram a couple weeks ago because he's got his oxys, and he's like, he's got a Gravid oxy, and he's like, dude, he's like, you start like misting them and feeding them heavy, and he's like, and they're gonna go. So I need to start. That's one of the main goals for this year is not breeding corns and focusing on the Jansenite, like I said I was going to do last year and didn't. And then hopefully make that happen. So
yeah. Damn it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I think we're now getting to like they're in sort of her in particular, she's in the prime age now to really start making them happen. So I think that's partially why the last couple of years have been lukewarm in terms of results, is just she was still younger and smaller, and she's put on a good bit of size now, and I think she's sort of in her peak maturity for production and stuff. So I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with that big male rhino, man. Like I really want to pair her with this other female that I have that'll be ready to go, but I'm really scared he's gonna fuck her up.
Just watch him.
Like he's a freaking monster, and maybe I won't be as concerned if he goes off food like the other male does typically, because then I won't be so sketched out by him. But he's just such a freaking beast.
Still, man, for instance, the Brewster County Gophers, that female is an absolute dick. She's horrible. But I put a male in with her. I had the same thought. I was like, man, she's gonna light his ass up the second she sees him, but nothing. Didn't make a sound. I think it's just different, like
I don't know, dude. They're just like males
stuff, but
they're very aggressive breeders. Like males will grab the female by the neck, and like I've seen some pictures. I don't know if Stone's in them do me or if I just saw them somewhere else, but like they'll do some freaking damage to the girls, dude.
Yeah, and it might be one of those things that like you put him in, let him do his thing for a day, pull him out overnight.
We were talking about it. Who was I talking to about it? It might have been Bill the other night. But my idea is like next time she sheds, I'll save that shed. And as we're going into the season, I'll start leaving that in his tank just so there's some level of familiarity there. Like it's not a complete surprise. Her, I'm not as worried about because if she's anything like the female that I bred the last 2 years, like she's just going to freak out and run. Yeah. The male will chase her down. I definitely don't want to leave him unsupervised. Like until I feel confident that he's not going to either like really hurt her or eat her.
Dude, I'm saying post up a chair in there, sit in that sucker, only leave for 10 minutes at a time, sitting there all day and see what happens. Like,
we'll see. He comes from he was produced by Buddy Buscemi, so he's of a different sort of lineage as the other ones. But then I have my other smaller male that I haven't bred yet, who's basically the same size, and I would like to breed. But I don't know that bigger male. I think it'd just be good to sort of diversify lineage a little bit. And
I if I'm being honest, I think you're a little extra paranoid about it. I don't think I would worry too much. You know, there's always the initial introduction that you got to watch for, make sure nobody does a random strike. But I don't.
When I paired the other pair the first time, dude, like I was kind of freaked out a little bit because I was like, it was so aggressive. I was not expecting it. It's not like horns where they just kind of chase each other around very calmly, and it's like you know what's happening. This was like, oh shit. Like I put 2 males together. Like this is serious. And I took some videos and I sent some pictures to Stone. I was like, is this normal? And he's like, oh yeah, that's just how they do it. And it's like, Jesus Christ. It's like cresteds, dude. They're it's brutal. They're brutal to each other.
What about the
not to each other? The male is brutal to females.
What about the Persinum?
Those I'm planning to do this year. I put them together briefly last year, the year.
Oh, that was a disaster. I remember that.
That was just So I put them together. I couldn't tell exactly what was going on because it seemed like the female was really constricting the shit out of the male, and I was like, maybe I got the sexes mixed up, and maybe the smaller one's the female and the bigger one's the male. But I don't think that's the case, and so I sent a picture and a video again to Matt Most, who
I thought he said
to me, and he was like, "Don't pair them yet; they're not ready." But he had previously said, when I got them, they should be ready to go the following year. So I was like, "Okay, they're good." But he was like, "No, give them another year." I was like, "Okay." So I did that, and so they should be ready to go this year. But he was also like, this is a Vietnamese locality, so they get bigger than the other ones, but without any pictures of what an adult Vietnamese looks like in context of like a human hand or anything for that matter. I don't know how much bigger they are than the other localities. So it's
how big are what you have?
The female is the size of like my adult female rhinos, and the male's slightly smaller. I don't know. I think they'll be okay. Like I'm going to give them a shot. I'm going to start beefing them up again, like feeding them up a little heavier too as it starts to warm up some. But those are going to be interesting because those things are a fucking handful, dude. Those babies are going to be gnarly.
I'm not going to lie, dude. Out of all the Gonyosoma you have, I would be very interested in some of those. I like those a lot. They're freaking cool. They look like little mambas.
They're bitey little fuckers, dude. The anti-rhinos, the rhino, the evil, like you know how Mario has Wario? There's like an evil twin.
Yeah, Luigi has Waluigi.
These are the Warios of Gonyosoma. Like everything you love about rhinos in terms of like behavior and stuff, but
everything you love about rhinos and everything you hate about Gonyosoma.
Polar opposite of personality. Yeah, it's really interesting because they behave so similarly in terms of like hanging out in the water bowl, climbing, always out and about, like all this stuff. But unlike the rhinos, as soon as you touch them, they like puff up, they start striking wildly, like they try to take off. It's like a rhino and a Jansenii or Oxy had a baby. It's just they're handfuls, dude.
They're cool. I like them.
They are cool. It's comical how much that male hates me and wants to end me. With every ounce of his little being, he's like, I will fucking kill you.
I'm gonna kill you.
The female, like, if I don't touch the female, she's okay. But as soon as if I touch her tail or anything with the hook, like she just takes the fuck off. She's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
But that's the main projects for the year is rhinos, the Persimmon, and the Jansenii. I tossed around the idea of pairing Bairds, like just the Loma Altas, but I don't know if I'm going to do those this year either. Maybe if I do another round of downsizing, I'll consider it. But
I think you should do Loma Altas.
I don't know. Everyone wants Loma Altas until I have Loma Altas, and then I just have a bunch of Loma Altas.
I mean, they have small clutches.
They do.
So just do one pair. Well, diversity never hurt nobody.
Maybe. That's what I said about corns.
Well, corns there's corns just because they're different morphs. They're still corn snakes, but yeah, there's Loma Altas versus rhinos and Persino.
I want to breed tarantulas.
Oh God.
Just once. Just to try it out.
You just want to breed them once? I thought that was like the whole thing.
That's
breed them down the road.
It's a little more involved than it is with snakes in terms of like.
Oh, I can imagine.
Pull the exact, knowing when to pair them. Like the pairing window is very interesting with tarantulas. You have to like time it right. It's kind of a weird thing, but I don't want to do anything crazy. Like I have my Costa Rican striped knee or zebra or whatever the common name is, and I actually really enjoy that. She's still little. I looked at a molt that she did recently, and it looks like it is a female, so that's nice.
Surprise, surprise! Smitty says it's a female.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually, dude, so far I've lucked out. From everything I can tell from what I have currently,
they're all females.
Everything looks like it's female. You know, there's a couple that I'm
crazy.
Last like 2 molts that I've gotten, I couldn't get them to. I couldn't, because you have to take the molts, you have to put it in like water with some Dawn, so it loses the water tension, so that you can like spread the part of the molt to be able to see like where their sex organs are basically. And like you have to I take a jeweler's loop and have to like look at it really closely. And like when they're really small still, it's very hard to tell. So you have to wait for them to get a little bit of size on them.
Especially your blind ass.
Especially my blind ass.
I wouldn't trust you for shit.
Eagle Eye Smitty, buddy.
Yeah, sex and sex from the truck.
Do you? Oh, here's a good question for you. I was thinking about this the other day with all the snow and stuff we've had, and how we've had a quote unquote real winter for the first time in what feels like a long time. Do you think that come spring it's going to be absolutely on and popping because of this deeper winter? I think it's going to be any different. Be nuts. I think it's going to be.
Well, you actually have to come herping with me to find out. Dude, I'm telling you, last year springtime, I couldn't go a night without finding 20 snakes. Like last year springtime, dude, when I found this road, every time I went there, I was stopping every 2 minutes for something.
I'm telling you, I have a hunch. Like I have this sneaking suspicion that.
Well, see, you're gonna come with me on my road and be like, "I told you," and I'm like,
this spring in particular, I feel like it's just gonna be gangbusters.
I mean,
because we got snow and stuff, and it's been actually like consistently very cold.
I don't think it's gonna be any different than most.
I don't know, man. I got a good feeling about it.
Well, we're going to find stuff, dudes. I'm telling you, this road I got.
That road is, I was telling Michael Gillen about it the other night. We were FaceTiming for a little bit because he was talking about he's planning to go to Daytona this year. And he was like, oh, you know, I want to come down, you know, a couple of days beforehand and like swing by you guys in South Carolina there. And I tell him, I was like, dude, Jake has this road. Like, I don't even think we bother going anywhere else at this point. Like, that road is the spot. I was like, even if we're just seeing baby copperheads every freaking 50 yards, it's still awesome. Like,
yeah, dude,
that spot's been very good to us.
There were definitely slow nights, but in the spring, dude, it was 20 snakes minimum every night. Granted, yeah, a lot of copperheads, but like even dead summer terrible night, I at least found one snake. Like I always found.
I don't think we've been skunked on that. I don't think you've been skunked on that road yet.
I've never been skunked on that road. Not a single time last year. I stopped road cruising other places. I did. Like, it was so good.
I was telling him, like, he had a couple other spots he would go, but I was like, I think after he's found this one,
not for road cruising,
no reason
man.
to really go anywhere else road cruising wise.
Like,
Damn,
I
think of all
have
the stuff we found on there, like canebrake, horns,
yeah.
yellow rats, ribbon snakes, water snakes, copperheads, like
garter snakes. Like, it is literally like. Granted, no, I do think there's potential for other stuff. Like, I'm really curious in spring. I really think we can find mud snakes out here if we go on the right night
on that road.
Yeah, I really think we'll find mud snakes.
Like railroad tracks or post railroad tracks.
Pre,
because of all that wetland
kind of all that marshy area right there. Yeah, I really think mud snakes, rainbows will be a hard thing because they have been road cruised, but they don't road cruise them a lot. But
I didn't realize too until I think I was talking to Gabe about it, but they like occupy almost like a completely different habitat, like water system wise.
Yeah, their prey is different.
Rainbows are more like deep water. I say deep water, like muds are much more sort of swampy, like tidal,
swampies,
kind of deals. And these mud snakes are a little more like deeper water.
Well, I think it'd be more so vice versa.
Yeah,
because rainbows you'll find in like creeks and they are like deeper creeks and rivers and stuff. But even out there, rainbows might be around because it is brackish. It's brackish-ish over there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the cool thing about that area is like right there at the beginning, you got brackish waters right there. Then you get to that other section where it's flooded dikes essentially, and one side's fresh, the other side's more brackish. So, and that's where I get a lot of different stuff there. I mean, I still want to go to other areas. Like I want to try Hunt Club springtime too.
I want to go back to Hunt Club too because I don't want that one time with you.
I want, dude, that ever since I found the absolute diesel pygmy out there, I'm like, I gotta go again. I mean, dude, it still kills me, dude, because I literally passed by the truck that hit it. And when I tell you this was the fattest pygmy I've ever seen, this thing was huge. I'm talking over 2 foot for a pygmy. I'm not shitting you.
I didn't see it. I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah, I didn't put anything up to it for reference. I should have stretched it out, put my snake hook on there because I thought it was like a smaller canebrake when I saw it because it was so big just on the road. And I saw it. I was like, this is the biggest pygmy I've ever seen anywhere. Like, it was insane. And
doesn't it kill you though? Like the amount of years it took for that thing to get to that size and like all the battles it fought to get to where it was, and a fucking bullshit truck is the thing that takes it out.
I almost broke my snake hook, dude. Like I ended up throwing it over down the road, and I was screaming down there. I almost snapped that thing over my leg, dude.
It should have been me.
It should have been me. Dude, I was pissed. That thing was huge.
I tried to get a truck, man. I was like, I want to be just like Jake, get a Tacoma. So I thought you were gonna do it, man. Cruise.
I thought you were gonna. You do that RAV4, be a road cruiser monster, man. What you mean?
Boy, that thing gets some good ass gas mileage.
Hell yeah, that's what I mean. It'll be great for road cruising.
It's got sport mode.
Yeah, you can drive.
Katie was like, "What does that do?" And I was like, "I don't know, but we're gonna find out." The dealership lady was like, "Oh, that just makes it go faster." I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Well, it changes the gearing a little bit.
Yeah,
essentially.
I don't know.
But Brandon asked what our herping goals this year. My biggest one, I crossed so many off last year. This year, my biggest one is to find a Diamondback. Like, if I could choose one and only one, it's going to be to find a Diamondback here in South Carolina.
Dude, I want to go to Hunting Island more.
Dude, fuck Hunting Island. No.
Every time dude, I go there,
we need to hit up the sand hills, man.
Then look, so what's frustrating is I have yet to see a Diamondback out there, and I spent not a ton of time, but more time out there hiking and looking than I have anywhere else last year. And every time, like within the same week of me being out there and looking around, like the Beaufort locals page or whatever, someone posts a picture of a Diamondback they saw like on the beach or on the trails, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why can't I just catch a break? I read the book. I went in the peak
I
month.
read the book.
I did all this stuff, and I still like. I don't like. Yeah, I do want to see one. If we have to go inland a little bit, like it'd be cool to see one. But to me, it's like to find one here, like in county, like on a barrier island.
I mean, we can do that. We just got to get on some of the barrier islands. Like hunting island's going to be a bigger ask. Going to a barrier island, getting there is the only issue. Finding the diamondback will probably be the easy part.
There's this island that my dad and some of my family used to go hunting on that you could only access by boat.
Yeah,
I'm tempted to ask him about going out there because I can't imagine there's any hunting going on in the spring there. Because I think they mostly just go for deer. But I think being uninhabited, like there's no one living there, and it being really only active in like the fall and winter during deer hunting season.
Yeah,
I think it might be a good spot to check out just to see what happens. It sounds like it's not massive, it's not a big island, but I think it's. I don't remember what size he told me, but I'll have to look it up on a map and see if he can show me.
Doesn't matter, dude. Honestly, if it's, I want to hit any. I'm not going to say this on air, but islands off of certain islands is where we need to go. That's something I'm going to say about that.
It'd be cool to go check out Pinckney again with a bike this time.
Yeah.
Or an electric.
It's even brutal on a bike, dude. Electric would be the way to go.
Anything would be better than the friggin' death march me and Justin Olson did that one day.
Oh, dude, I've done that death march so many times. Like I've walked that thing probably 10 times, dude.
We just kept walking without really thinking, like paying attention to how far away from the parking lot we were getting. And then by the time we got like probably a solid, 3 or 4 miles out, we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, we got to walk back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's about time to call this one, buddy.
We have to get back down to A&F too.
Yeah, that's happening.
That's got to happen, dude. I loved that trip so much.
Yeah, that's it. It's not about if, it's just we just got to plan a weekend when Harry can have us. That's happening for sure.
I think it's more so when Molly can have us.
Yeah, that too.
I don't think it's necessarily as up to Harry as it is her, the baby.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yes, Brandon, Arizona is definitely on the docket. I'm hoping maybe this year.
When's Flippin' 10 happening next?
I gotta talk to Sky.
Have an episode now that it's not even herping season.
Yeah, we got some stuff lined up for sure. It's just a matter of planning. Sky started a new job, and so he was getting his feet wet with that, and so I'm giving him some time to get things going with that. But yeah, we'll be back maybe next week. I gotta talk to him. We'll figure something out. So,
well, we are doing Arachnerds next week on Thursday, so it won't be live, but it's gonna be
Flippin' 10 will be. If we do it.
Cool. Snakes and Stogies is back on Monday. Phil, I think, should be back home by then. But feels good to sort of be back in the saddle. We took a little bit longer of a break than we had these years.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I think that's been slightly part of my just like being down in the dumps about this stuff because I haven't recorded since the end of the year episode and
mid-December.
Yeah, and I haven't recorded that since then, and before that I hadn't recorded in a few weeks, so I'm excited to get back into it. Oh, speaking of recording, I did do a podcast recently. I know a lot of our long-term listeners have heard me talk about it enough, but if you want more of a detailed oriented story about my Aatrox bite, I recently did an episode with Matthew Wayne. He does a podcast called Not Another Reptile Podcast, but he started a spinoff one dedicated to venomous snake bites and just kind of the reality.
He's gonna hit up Harry about his garter bite.
God. But yeah, not to glorify them in any way. He's doing it because he's curious about it. He generally just wants to know more, and it's, he wants to get people's stories out there. And I was his first guest for that. So if you feel so inclined to check that out and you want to hear my story a little bit more in depth, you're welcome to go check that out. It was kind of weird, like, because I haven't talked about it in a long time because the bite happened.
Make your hand start hurting.
No, shut up. No, it wasn't that cold. It wasn't cold out yet. But no, it was kind of weird talking about it again because I hadn't gone into details about it in a long time. I hadn't even brought it up in a while. So going down memory lane and talking about the whole thing, literally from start to finish, it was kind of weird.
Did you cry?
But yes, all the tears.
It's okay, buddy. The Aatrox can't get you anymore.
Yeah, right. I'm not letting that happen again. Absolutely not. But if you feel like hearing that, go check it out. It was a good episode. It's fun. So
this episode is brought to you by Fulvius Apparel. FulviusApparel.com. Use the code THN at checkout. Get 15% off your order. It's a slow month. Help your boy out. Gotta make some dollars.
Dollar bills, y'all.
I got a whole bunch of beanies and a bunch of patches I still have yet to make and put together, and I keep procrastinating.
You still haven't made my my canebrake shirt.
You can't even remember what shirt it was.
My canebrake shirt. I asked you to make it months ago. You told me to go fuck myself.
I did not.
I know. You may as well have now, though.
Whoa.
Also, your old McDonald's looking ass hat. The fuck?
Don't be jealous.
Looks like McDonald's.
The golden arches.
Make my canebrake shirt, Smitty.
I think I haven't really done patches and hats and stuff because it's been so damn cold in the garage.
Well,
it makes sitting out here and babysitting.
Doesn't stop you from making my canebrake shirt.
The drawing for the sign language for free handlers mug is happening tomorrow. Go enter on Instagram. It is on Facebook too, but I don't get as many I don't get nearly as much traction on Facebook as I do on Instagram. So
it's just life.
There you have so many options and ways to get multiple entries in. So like you add it to your story and you tag me, you get an entry. You tag friends, you get an entry for each person you tag. And then if you tell me, just because I'm curious, like what your least, the species you'd least likely to get tagged by, or least like to get tagged by, which I guess would really be any of them, but any in particular, just out of curiosity. You get an entry if you drop that too. So
see, I thought about entering, but I was like, man, it'd be kind of a dick move if I entered and I ended up winning.
Every other freaking host did. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be
and half
that
of them
guy.
tagged me. I was like, fuck you guys, man. Like, that shouldn't even count.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be.
It's all in good fun. I like doing the giveaways on a regular basis. I've got some other stuff that I'm gonna do and put up here soon. I think I'm gonna do at least one a month, just because if it gets me followers and grows the Instagram, great. If not, it's still just something fun to do, and people seem to enjoy it. So nice. I think I've come to find that it makes more sense to put money into that in like the things and making things and stuff like that than it is to put into like Instagram and Facebook ads, where I really just don't get much for any money spent there. So I figure at least this, it's a little engaging. It's something fun. Just,
yeah.
So,
cool.
And it's cheaper overall because the amount of money that I've shoveled in bit by bit to Facebook pages over the years it's disappointing what the results are. So
yeah,
done doing that, playing that game. Even though I constantly tell myself like, oh, I'll do another like $50 campaign. This one will work out. This one will be better. And then it's not. And then I do it again like 6 months later thinking same thing. Like this one will do well. This one will be better. It doesn't. It's all a lie.
That's how they keep you coming back.
That's pretty much either that or there's just something major that I'm just missing and not doing right, but I can't figure out what that is. So I don't know. But we'll be back Monday. Everyone stay warm. If you're in the Northeast, I curse you because I have a feeling that there's some sort of weird Northeastern voodoo that you've done to cause us to be covered in ice right now. And bullshit. I don't like it.
No. There is snow/ice outside of my house right now.
What happens when South Carolina is basically become a territory of Ohio.
You brought your weather down here with you.
Yeah,
I don't appreciate
take it back.
I like a snow day, but
I like a snow hour. It's fun for a very brief period of time, and then after that, I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it's mostly because like their county or the whole state is not prepared for it. Like especially our county is not prepared for snow on the roads.
We don't even have snow plows, dude.
Yeah, we do. Somebody like DOT was out there snow plowing.
Yeah, but they brought that down from like Greenville or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Buford itself, like our
county, we are not prepared. We don't have like trucks to throw
snow plow between
down.
here and Myrtle Beach.
We don't have ice, or we don't have trucks to put salt down on the roads and none of that crap. It's just bullshit. So we have
you're just in time, Sky. We're leaving.
Yeah, thanks, Sky.
Day late and $1 short. That boy's a wet match in a dark cave.
Hey, you better watch it. It's my dog. All right. Watch it.
We're part of the possum gang. We love possums.
Everybody loves possums.
Can't bring myself to hurt one of those little guys. Raccoons? I don't like raccoons. Possums. If I find a possum in the rat shed, I'm like, I can't hurt you. I can't send you to heaven. I'll just release them and then catch them again a week later because they can't learn their lesson.
No. Anyways,
bye.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Toodles.